happens is that majority of them will get out on their own, as we saw in the video. But then sometimes not all of them will get out, and that is natural. It's part of the process. Not all of them are 100% fit to go. So maybe a few of them will still get out the following nights after the majority of them has left the nest. But maybe they will sadly get stuck inside the nest, and they may not make it, and they might die. And again, it's sad, but it's part of the cycle. All of these maybe unhatched eggs as well that are there, all of these, they are important nutrients for the beach, for the dunes, and for the animals and plants that are living there. So if they don't make it, they might just stay there, but it's part of the cycle as how they evolved. So that's what happens. Good question, actually. We see most about plastic pollution because I think plastic tends to float and stay at the surface, and that can be more of a, or like closer to where the sea turtles are, and I guess glass would just sink to the bottom, and glass, it can break down into smaller pieces as well, so I don't think it's as much as a problem as plastic. But I imagine if the turtles can get cut, if there's a piece, for example, on land. I don't think I remember seeing snow here the past years I've been here, no. So the sea turtles, just like the weather here in Cape Verde, the weather is quite warm all year round. Sea turtles, they don't tend to go or nest where it's too cold. They tend to stay where the sand is warm and the beach is sunny, and we have this lovely weather here mostly year round. So they will not be nesting, the babies will not be hatching if there is a place where we have snow. Most of the days, fortunately, because I do like the sun, I'm not very fond of the cold weather. So I think it rains around 5 days a year, around that. So it's really great for turtles. So the mama turtle, she doesn't take care of the eggs or the baby turtles. What she does before laying the eggs is to find the best place that she can find around the beach, and she's going to try to create the best nest she can to give these baby turtles the best chance of survival. So once she lays these eggs, she can lay from 80 to 100 eggs, sometimes less, sometimes more. Once she lays these eggs, she's also going to camouflage the area very nicely to prevent predators from finding this nest. And then she's going to go to the water, so she's not going to be there tending to these babies. But before laying these eggs in wilderness nest, she's going to find the best idea, the best scenario for them to give them the best chance. Once the babies hatch, which is around 50 to 60 days after the eggs were laid, they will come out normally at nighttime, because just like the mom evolved to lay the eggs at nighttime because it's not as hot, she's less visible to predators. These baby turtles, they also evolved to hatch at nighttime when the temperature has dropped, so they're also less visible to predators. So they're going to climb to the top of the nest, and they're going to do this pretty much in a group, like in a batches of baby turtles, to give them a better chance of survival. So they start marching towards the ocean, and they find the ocean by looking for the brightest horizon, which on a natural beach should be the ocean. The waves, they reflect the night sky, and then the sea turtles, they know, okay, that's the ocean, that's where I should be going. Then they start marching towards the water all together. And then once they're there, they're going to start swimming, and the ocean currents are going to take them to their next spot. Quite a lot, yes, from the hatcheries, which is where we actually can count all the baby turtles that we're releasing. Last year, we released around 75,000 baby turtles. The year before, I think over 150,000. But not all of these baby turtles, they will make it into adult life. Out of 1,000 baby turtles that are born, maybe 1 or 2 will reach adult life. So that's why we really need to continue our conservation efforts here to give them the best chance they can. So the fishing nets, they are a big problem for the sea turtles as we were talking about, because they can get entangled in these fishing lines, the fishing nets, and then once they get entangled, they try getting themselves out and they can't come up for air. So unfortunately they die, right? So some of the fishing nets, like big fishing nets, they have what we call the TED, which is the turtle excluding device, which is an opening at the bottom of the net that allows the turtles to escape. But all of the fish, all of the goals of the fishermen, the species that they want to catch still remains in the net. So there's kind of like a way out for the turtles, right? There's also some type of hooks that have been developed that have a different shape. So the sea turtles can't really bite this hook, or if they do bite, it's not going to get in their mouth. So they're going to be able to release themselves and swim away. As for the lights on the boats and on the fishing nets, if the light is on the boat and the boat's in the water, I guess the baby turtles, they will go towards the light in this way, go into the water, and then they start swimming. But I believe the currents, they will take them to where they should go, because the baby turtles are quite small. They're very, very small, so they're not strong enough to swim there actively towards the light or another way. So they actually rely on these currents to take them to their feeding grounds. So fundraising is really, really important, because we are an NGO, so we are a non-governmental organization. So we are not related to the government. We're not part of the government. We are our own separate institution or association. So we rely a lot on donations from private donors to public donors to help us conduct our work. And the fundraising that we do, for example, in the hatcheries with adoptions, with donations, they are essential for the maintenance of the program of the sea turtles. So all of these donations, they go into helping continue the program, from basic stuff such as buying gasoline so we can drive to the patrol areas, to pay the staff that are employed by us to do the patrols at nighttime, or maybe buy the metal cages that you saw in the video that we need to put on the nest, because of course we're working on the beach, and because of the salt water and the salty air, all these materials, they can get like ruined quite fast, so we need to replace them quite often. So yeah, the money goes from paying salaries to buy gasoline, to buy materials for the hatchery, or buy materials to the patrols. So yeah, it goes directly into the protection of the sea turtles. Very good question, and it has different answers depending where we're talking about on the globe. So the sea turtles, they have been around the world for like millions of years, and they've been in some places around the world. They were actually a food source in the past. So, for example, in Central America, people would eat the sea turtle eggs. So, where I was working in Mexico, a big problem that we had there was people taking the sea turtle eggs. They did not want to harm the adult turtle. They did not want to harm the baby turtles. They just wanted to consume the sea turtle eggs, because it is, or used to be, a food source in the past when they didn't have any other options, or not many options. Now it's illegal, they're protected by law, but it still happens in some places around the globe. In Cabo Verde, similar scenario, but not with the nests. They're interested in poaching and taking the adult turtles. So the poachers, they wait for the adult turtle to come out, and they poach them to consume the meat. Again, it has to do a lot with the history of the country. So there's this tradition aspect of consuming sea turtle meat. Again, they are protected here, but this still happens, and this is one of the things that we're fighting against. But other threats, but besides this consumption, for example, we have the coastal development, which is a really big threat for sea turtles, again, all around the world. Because as you can imagine, these sea turtles, they come nest in these lovely islands and these lovely beaches, and humans also like to go to these lovely islands and lovely beaches, which means more hotels, more towns, resorts, restaurants, etc. all of this development is taking place exactly where the sea turtles are nesting. And this puts a lot of pressure on the area. So they're losing their nesting habitats because you have more resorts, more hotels, because the city is growing, the city is expanding. And with all of this development, another problem that comes is light pollution, because as you guys have seen, the sea turtles, they guide themselves by looking for the brightest horizon, which again should be the ocean, should be the waves reflecting the night sky. But of course, if in the horizon, these baby turtles, they see the city lights, the hotel lights, they get confused, they go in the wrong direction, and then they do not make it to the water. So this is a big problem. Also, bycatch with the fishing lines, as we mentioned, is another threat. Plastic pollution. So sadly, there's a lot of different threats that humans created, and they are threatening the sea turtles, not just in Cape Verde, but around the world. So the cages, we put them, as you see, on the center of the nest to prevent the babies from walking around. The cages, they have like this very small, I guess, mesh, the squares, I guess, I don't know how to say, but they cannot get their heads in them. If they get the flippers, they can easily remove the flippers. If you just stay there and watch them for a bit, you see, okay, few flippers can get in, but they easily can remove the flippers out. So it's very easy for them. Of course, they're trapped there, but we do not let them there the entire night. We are there monitoring these nests, and as soon as we see that the babies are active and ready to go, we're gonna take them from there, put them in a bucket, and take them close to the water. If this happens, and it does happen sometimes, it happens because we try to put the cage as better as we can on the center of the nest where we assume that the eggs are, so that when the babies come out, they will come out to the top and then to the center of the cage. But sometimes it happens that we put the cage just a little bit to the side, and then that means it's not right on the center of the nest, and then that means that the babies are hatching from the side of the mesh, right? And then they escape. But because we have people that, as I said, every night we can easily find these baby turtles. If maybe we get to the nest and we see some of the babies inside the cage, and then we just look and we see that the little tracks are walking around and from away from the cage. So we just follow these little tracks, and then we can find the little escapees. But the hatchery, if you noticed on the video, it's completely closed on all the sides. So even if they escape, and if they are walking around, we can just walk around the hatchery and find these baby turtles and then release them. I don't remember seeing them getting injured, because when we are releasing them, yes, they are just born, they are fresh from the nest, but these baby turtles, they have evolved, as I said, for millions and millions of years. So they, even though it looks quite scary to see a baby so small getting into this big ocean with these big waves, they're used to it. They evolved to do that, so they know how to deal with this. So even when they start walking to the water, sometimes the waves push them back up and put them with their bellies up, and they start struggling a little bit to put themselves in the right position. They have their instincts to put themselves right back to the right position and go to the water. And they are small, they're delicate, but they're actually quite resistant. Like their shell is quite hard already, and they are adapted to that, so they can get along just fine towards the water and to break the water, the waves. Not all of the baby turtles of the nest, they will be super strong and super fit with their little flippers. Sometimes they have a flipper that doesn't move as well as it should. But again, this is normal, this is part of nature, and we release them. And when we are releasing these baby turtles, we are watching them and making sure that they can actually get to the water and go past the breaking of the waves. So they might struggle a little bit than the ones that are 100% fit. But again, it's part of the cycle. They might not make it that further in life, but it's natural that does happen. We do not have any facilities to rehabilitate them or take care of them. But also, as I said, it's part of the cycle, part of nature, that not all of the baby turtles will make it into adult life. So a few things can happen actually. She might come out to lay her eggs and start looking for the ideal place. And she starts digging with her back flippers to make the hole, the egg chamber for the eggs. She starts digging and notice that the nest is collapsing, so the sand is falling into the hole, so it's not creating a clear hole for her. So she might change, try another spot, and if this new spot is not good either, she can try maybe another time. And if she cannot find a good time, she might go back to the water, come back another day, or it can happen sometimes that she is starting to dig and she gets scared because she heard a noise or someone came or something. Of course, when we are patrolling, we are very, very careful to approach them. If we see even a track from the distance, we do not approach the turtle. We just make sure that we aren't going to approach and work with the turtle after she has started laying the eggs, because when she starts laying the eggs, it's a safer moment for us to approach her. So yeah, she can get maybe an animal, a dog, a bird, or something pass by. She got scared when she was digging, and then she stops digging, start another hole, go back to the water. But yeah, if she doesn't find, she's gonna try again until she finds the ideal spot. But maybe sometimes she thinks it's an ideal spot and it's not. For example, she might have laid the eggs too close to the water, for example, because she thought that was a good spot, but then with the high tide, that nest got flooded. So this is also, it's sad, but as James was saying, it's part of evolution, it's part of the cycle. These nests, these eggs, they will not make it because they got flooded. So meaning that these are not going to be future baby turtles. So it's natural selection that these eggs are not going to survive because the mom didn't choose the ideal spot. The beaches that we have here, they're quite long, so we do have the turtles nesting throughout the nesting season, and they do nest maybe next to another nest, and that's okay. But maybe if it's in a place as you asked, that is not ideal because maybe flooding, too close to the water. If we can relocate it to a safer place like the hatchery, we will, or maybe another place even on the beach that we think it's ideal. So we just take this nest and we bring it to another place on the beach. But the beaches are quite big, so there's still space for us to be moving the nests. But yes, it can get quite busy sometimes.